Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. First, thank you so much for joining me. Today's recipe is a healthy tortellini spinach slow cooker soup recipe. This recipe has been inspired by a very humble handwritten list that I got by way of social media. I thought, I saw it really quickly and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I think I'll give that a try. But after giving it a good hard look and going, no, I don't think so. We can make this so much better. And I will show you the flaws that this particular recipe had and how we are going to improve it. You are going to love this tortellini spinach slow cook recipe. If you're interested in that, then keep on watching, or if you just want to come and hang out for a little while, I hope you join me. And here we are. I'm just going to go through as quickly as I can the ingredients that I saw on the internet. There was no instructions at all with this particular recipe. And as I look around, there's not a lot except for the ingredients that I wrote down. And I started looking at the ingredients, and to me, it just did not work. But the ingredients are, and it's clearly states here, a bag of tortellini, which only takes 3 minutes. Of course, I realize in boiling water, but it only takes 3 minutes to cook. A bag of spinach, which again, this is one of those ingredients, it doesn't take any time to cook. 2 cans of diced tomatoes, and I do have 2 cans of petite diced tomatoes with Italian style, added with basil, garlic, and oregano. And 4 cups of vegetable broth and a block. And I'm only going to assume they meant 8 ounces of cream cheese. Well, there's several things, and forgive me for saying this, that are fundamentally wrong with this recipe. Although there is no instructions at all, if you were inexperienced with using these, either a slow cooker or these particular ingredients, you would know that it doesn't take long to cook both of these. And if you dump all of this, like a lot of people would do, you would just simply dump it in there and go and say, okay, I'm going to come home to a fabulous, really, great soup. I'm sorry, this is not going to work. I started to make it as it was written on the internet, and I said, I'm not going to waste this kind of money, for one thing, on this particular recipe. And number 2 is because I'm going to have a really busy day, and I don't want to come home and attempt to eat this. Anyone who has worked with spinach knows it doesn't take any time. And if I dumped all of this into a slow cooker, then I'm not going to even really be aware that there is spinach in this soup, and much less the tortellini either. So I am going to do my own version. And if you're interested, I hope you keep watching, but I'm going to bring out what I propose to do with this particular recipe. And I am back. The first thing I've done, you can see things look dramatically different. I have 8 ounces of sliced fresh mushrooms. I have about a cup of very thinly as I can, sliced, chopped. As long as it's uniform, that's okay. About a cup of chopped onion. I have a 1/4 cup of kind of semi-melted butter. I'm adding 2 cups of vegetable broth. I'm adding about a teaspoon of chopped fresh garlic, half a teaspoon of oregano and a half a teaspoon of basil. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of reduced sodium soy sauce. And what I'm going to do is the spinach, the tortellini, and the cream cheese are going to go back in the fridge and freezer where they belong, and we will go from there. But let's set this aside here. I have a very well greased slow cooker, and I just used butter, just a little bit of butter. As you guys know, I'm kind of trying to move away from the sprays and things like that. So totally moving away from spraying it. Of course, if that's what you got, use what you got. But butter, butter, butter. I'm going to add my mushrooms. I think you guys can see. My apologies. I'm really working on this. There you go. I'm going to add all of my fresh mushrooms. I'm going to add my cup of thinly sliced onion. I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of, as melted as I could get this morning, butter, salted or unsalted, whatever you have. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of, and I have reduced sodium soy sauce. Again, whatever you have. Excuse my voice, it's very early. And then I'm going to add my garlic, my oregano, and my basil. Give it just a wee bit of a stir, a little bit. And 2 cups of vegetable broth. If all you have is, chicken broth or chicken stock, it's really up to you. And that's 2 cups. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on low for 7 hours until the vegetables are tender and cooked through. And at that time, I will be back and we will go from there. So we are at 7 hours and we're going to get checking on this, and it is bubbling away. I'm not really sure if you guys can see that. I'll just bring you in a little bit. It is bubbling away. And it, even at 7 hours on low, it didn't really dry out. And let me see if I can get a set back here. But at this point, I'm going to add my cubed cream cheese. I'm going to add my cubed. I cubed it up a little bit. I mean, I guess you could always just plop it in there, but which it looks like that's what it's going to do anyway. But got the cream cheese going in. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. This is going to be delicious, guys. And I'm adding the tortellini, the cheese tortellini in. I'm going to add it all right in there. And give it a good stir. This is going to be so good. It's going to be delicious. Fresh mushrooms and onions and garlic. Oh my, yes. But here we go. So I'm going to just kind of spread this, flatten it a little bit, set it there, and I'm going to let it go probably for, I'm going to check it at a half an hour from now and check the pasta. I'm not too worried about the cream cheese because I've worked with it before. But again, this is something just totally new for me, and I'm glad you're here for the ride. But at the end of half an hour, I'll check the pasta, see if it's tender at all. If it's not, I'll let it go for another half an hour, at which point I will bring out my spinach give it a good rough chop and add the spinach and maybe let it cook another 15 minutes or something like that, and then see how it is. But I'm going to bring you guys along, but another half hour, and I'll be back. So as you guys know, I added the tortellini and the cream cheese and stirred. I checked it in a half an hour. It was still kind of, So I turned my slow cooker up to high for another half an hour, and it is going along great. I'm going to keep it on high, but I'm going to give my spinach a rough chop. In this recipe that I wrote off the internet, it's just as a bag of spinach. Well, that's the smallest bag, but this is just going to be one of those things that you're going to have to just kind of gauge for yourself, because you know spinach really, hopefully, wilts down. But it's tasting excellent, if I say so myself. And let's see how much. That's about a half a bag, guys, and that's, 4 cups here. So just use your best judgment, but I think I'm going to add just one more good handful and add that to the slow cooker. And this is probably this is about 5 cups that I just a rough chop, guys. This is going to be excellent. You guys are going to love this. Those that like mushrooms and fresh vegetables, this is going to be nice. And it's still on high. Of course, this isn't my larger slow cooker. I thought this one would do just fine. But, and if I need to add a little bit more spinach, but I'd rather err on the side of just a little bit, without having to upset the balance of the sauce, because the sauce is just, it's going to be very nice. Leave it on high, probably I'm going to check it in a half an hour, and we'll go from there. And we're at the end of a half an hour. We are totally ready. I'm going to dish this up, and we are good to go. Yes, indeed. This came out quite nicely. See if I can pull it up for you guys to see. I will get this just like that. And there you go. This looks excellent. And we are back. I still have a very, very hot dish of tortellini spinach soup. To me, it's more like a stew. I've got a little bit of grated parm. I'm going to put over the top just a little bit. Let's hope not too much. The sauce is exceptional. And for someone who did not know what they were going to cook for dinner tonight, well, here you go. From a very simple, handwritten, jotted down recipe off the internet to this is my take on the tortellini stew. Thank you for joining me here, home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.